Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Deez. This is my workshop. It's kind of been a while since I've been out here in the shop. It has been brutally hot in the Midwest. It's been humid. It's just been totally uncomfortable. You come out here and you're just drenched in sweat. It's not comfortable, not something I want to do. So I've been taking a break from coming out here and working on different projects. But one thing that I have been doing is communicating with Dave on some different things, specifically the gearing that I have and that 72 tooth gear that was missing. And I wanted to start a video and give an introduction to what's going on. So when I released that video, Dave took a close look and he said you should check the keyways and the measurements on those gears that I bought. You'd think that's a no-brainer. You should check those things. The purpose of that previous video, I just want to clarify, that was to review Vevor's reaction and support to not including a component to the lathe. In this case, it was one of the gears. I didn't have high hopes that they were going to help, but they said, you find the gear, that was on me, and we'll reimburse you. And they did. I'm not going to say everybody should run out and buy Vevor products. I'm just sharing my support experiences. Every time I've reached out, they've reimbursed me for the part that I needed to get to fix the machine. And I think 3 different things I've had to do. That's the best support you're probably going to get from them. Keep that in mind, is you're just going to get monetary reimbursement for any parts you might need. So that's the conclusion I've come to after using this for over a year. They are there. They do kind of stand behind the product, but keep in mind, these things are built from seconds. There is no way that they built all these components, these passed any sort of quality control checks, all of the parts. These are the parts that didn't pass quality control checks. I'm telling you, that's how they make these things. They slap them together, it kind of moves, and they ship it out. Half of them, at least half of these things, you're going to get the ways and the angles and the grindings and everything to just way off. They're not going to work. You may have to send the thing back. The other half, going to need some tweaking, but they work. So for the cost, I took the chance. Worked for me. Some of you it didn't. I'd do it again. Enough of that. The gear, though, they didn't send a gear. Reached out to them. They reimbursed me. Problem is, I bought the wrong gear. The gear keyway was 4mm on the original, on the 72 tooth gear that I bought. Fortunately, Dave, I think he caught that. He's just a super bright guy. He's watching the video. He's like, you need to check that keyway. And I did, and I compared it to my others. These are 3mm keyways. The ones I bought were 4mm. Now the bore was the same. These are 12mm bores, but the keyway wasn't going to work. So basically what that meant was this gear would flop around. It would bang back and forth with that key not being tight. Well, that's not going to work. Over time, that's going to break teeth. That's going to cause issues. Fortunately, I was just, 4 or 5 days from my return window, and I was able to ship that 72 tooth gear back, got my money back, and now I'm back to square one. I did get reimbursed for the part, so Vevor did their thing. I'm not going to go back to them, but it's on me to get the right part. I knew that from the beginning. That was my mistake. So that leads us to where we are right now. Dave offered to make a gear for me. There's no way I'd be at this point that I would be able to make a gear. I think that's pretty big skill set to have the right equipment and the knowledge to figure out all of the calculations. I know there's formulas, math formulas, probably not as complicated when you really get right down to it as you think, but just thinking about it, and I just would have to buy one. But he wanted a challenge to try to make one for me. So I packed up a little gift box for him, and I sent him a couple of my larger gears so that he could do some comparison and measurements to make sure that the components, the gear that he's making would kind of line up with what I needed. All of my gears are 12mm, but there's a bushing that goes in here to mount on the pins that are on my banjo. So we decided to do a bit of a collaboration. He's going to make the gear. I'm going to put it in my lathe and give it a test. Can't thank him enough for doing this. You got to check out his channel. Dave has been a mentor to me throughout this whole channel. I started knowing nothing about all this, just having a heavy interest. He somehow found the channel early on, and he's been super helpful along the whole way. He'll tell you when you're not doing things right, and he'll tell you when you're doing things right. Again, such a valuable resource, and he's just been a mentor to me. So I want you to check out his channel. If you're getting into this and you're trying to learn things and you're wanting to know some cool projects that he's worked on, he provides all his plans and everything, go check out his channel. The link is in the description. Dave M, YouTube, super helpful. So he's got my gear now. He's working on that. I just wanted to show you a couple. I mean, these are the gears I have. They are, again, that bore in the middle, that's 12 millimeter. They are 3 millimeter keyways, and then they all have this, I'd say it's about a 1 millimeter step, and that's a spacer built into the gears themselves, because these gears all butt up together, and you don't want them flat against each other. You do need a bit of a spacer between them. So that's what those steps are for. And if you make one without a step, you could always put a washer in between those. But anyway, that's what these gears, these are my extra ones. I got all the gears, but not that 72 tooth gear. Something that I wanted to mention on that, it's that 72 tooth gear is important. There is a lot of different threads that you need that gear for to make. Let me see if I can bring this. So here's my chart. There's, on the front of these lathes, most of them have a chart here, and basically, you know, there's several metric and imperial that I wouldn't be able to make without that 72 tooth gear. Let's see, I'll list them here in the video. 1.25 thread pitch, 0.75 thread pitch, 1.75 thread pitch, and 3 thread pitch. That's all the metric stuff. Then on the imperial side, an 11, 20, which is the one I tried to make in a previous video, 28, 38, 40. That's quite a few thread pitches that I had to work around and not use because I didn't have that darn gear. With this intro video, something that's worth mentioning, some people have mentioned you can buy these gears on McMaster-Carr or Grainger, maybe eBay. I thought I bought the right gears. They all were really close, but that darn keyway was 4 millimeter. Pay attention to those measurements. Measure what you have, look online. I think McMaster-Carr is probably going to be one of your better bets to just get a gear if you're missing one. You could probably call them even and say, this is what I need. They'll measure it and send it out to you. It's just important to get the right size gear, and I didn't. So that was my mistake. So I got that sent back. Now Dave's making me one. We're going to get it back. That'll be added on to this video. I just wanted to get this intro done, but we'll get that 72 tooth gear mounted up, and we're going to do some thread cuts with it. I'm going to choose probably a 20 pitch because that's what I wanted to do in the past, and we'll do some test cuts and see what we can come up with. So anyway, with that, I just wanted to really close this intro with how important it is that you check your gears. Check your gears when you buy one of these things. Several people posted on that Vevor support review gear video. A lot of people are missing gears. So check all your gears or you won't be able to make certain thread pitches. So it's just going to be a few seconds for you, but it'll probably be a few weeks for me before I get the gear back and we're able to get back out here and test that. But I wanted to get started with an intro, let you know what's going on with the gear situation right now, and bring you along for the ride. So thanks for watching, and we'll continue this on. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been a little bit since the last clip. It's exciting. I finally got my package from Dave. We're going to do an unboxing on air live here and show you what he returned. But this is the 72 tooth gear that he made to replace the one that I didn't get with the lathe. And I'm really excited to see what's in this box. So, Dave, thank you very much. Let's see what you sent. And once we check everything out, I'm going to conclude this video with some test cuts using that gear and make sure that our thread pitches and everything are working like they should. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and open up this box to see what we got. See if there's any surprises in here. All right, what did we get? Awesome. So he included a copy of his CAD drawing for creating that gear. By the way, I'll link to his video in this like I've done before, but he has all of his plans and everything available on his website. If there's any projects or anything that he's worked on and he's created one of these drawings, they're available. He gives them to you. So that's pretty cool to include that with it. I am not to this level yet, but this is awesome stuff. He really plans out his projects. All right, what else we got? We got some packing material. Get some of this stuff out of here. Wow, there's a lot of goodies in this box. He did mention he was going to send some extra keys. These should all be 3mm. He asked if I could use any extras. I said, well, if I ever need to mess around with the gearing on this and I've got a broken bushing or sleeve, maybe an extra 3mm key would be helpful. So thank you for that. That's cool. It's exciting. Who doesn't need a chip brush? Got one of them. Thank you. Oh, this is awesome. He's got a cool little box. Got his logo on there. That's pretty neat. Let's see what's in this box. Oh, look at that masterpiece. Isn't that beautiful? There is the gear. That's so cool. He's even got it stamped. Unlike Vevor, they didn't stamp any of their gears. I had to count them all and mark on each gear what they were. That's beautiful, Dave. Fantastic. I can't wait to try this out. That looks great. Thank you so much. This is cool. And it's got this awesome box to go with it. I love it. That is awesome. Let's go ahead and see what else he sent. We've got, I'm guessing this would be my original gears that I shipped to him for reference. Yeah. So here's the original gears I sent out for reference. So those are, I need those back for the other thread pitches and whatnot, but these will be just fine. I'm glad to get those back. Thank you. We've got, gear grease. Always need that. This is white grease, white lithium. I grease my gears. I don't know if everybody does, but when I do that, it really cuts down on the noise and the sound. The original instructions that came with it said to grease the gears, so I do. It makes everything messy when you're changing the gears, but trying to keep all those parts, the metal on metal contact, lubricated, I like to lube them up. So thank you. I will definitely be using this. Awesome. We've got a nice bigger chip brush, 2-inch chip brush. That will be used and handy. We've got some materials. Oh, we've sent a nice piece of nylon or Delrin. I cannot wait to get my milling machine. This is going to be fantastic when I get that milling machine. I'm going to be able to make some pretty cool stuff. This is the kind of material that I'm excited to start working with. Some square stock, rectangular stock, working with a mill and learning that. That's going to be future projects here. Awesome. Set this over here. We've got some more packing here. I sent some extra materials. I already got some ideas for this stuff. We've got one square, I believe this is steel. I'm sure it's, yeah, steel of some sort. That will be handy. Almost like a large key stock or just a square stock. That's nice. And a couple round aluminum rods. It's got them labeled 5. I'm assuming they're 5mm. Let's check it out. Nope. 7.84mm. Anyway, handy stuff. I love having stock around for different projects that I'm working on. And let's keep going. We got some more stuff in here. Here's some more packing. That out of the way. We got something cool wrapped up here. That's all that's in the box. Let's see what else is, what he's got wrapped up here. I didn't expect really any of this stuff other than the gear and my original gears back. This is awesome. Thank you, Dave. Let's see what else we got. Oh wow, that's awesome. If oh, that's so cool. I can't believe he sent that. That is so cool. So if you've been watching Dave's channel, which I encourage you to go check it out, he's getting into welding. And he's been practicing different projects to, this is so cool. He's been practicing different projects to brush up on his, all the welding skills that you might need. You know, whether you mount your pieces up, how to put it in a fixture, his quality of welds, grinding, just everything that he's working on. And he's got designs for this thing too. And this was one of the things that he recently worked on. And it was such a cool looking project. He's got plans for this too out there. For any of you out there that are getting into welding and starting that up, go check him out if you want to make one of these things. What a cool challenge to make yourself try to make something like this. It's just got this optical illusion element to it. It's really, really cool. That's awesome. Dave, I now have artwork to decorate my workshop. This thing is awesome. Thank you for sending that. That's so cool. But if you haven't checked out Dave's channel, you got to go check him out. He's just wants to help people. His channel's out there. He's got all kinds of plans for different projects. Anybody that can just pick things up, learn welding in a matter of months, make a gear like this, just the talent and the skills that he has from working in this hobby, it's, you know, I hope to get there someday. But at any rate, Dave, thanks for sending all this stuff back. I cannot thank you enough for making this gear. I can't wait to try it out. That's going to be our next clip here. We're going to get onto it. We're going to make some threads, check it with our thread pitch. I may even try internal threading again and see if we can't make something fit together. At any rate, thanks for watching this. Let's get on to working with this gear. Dave, thanks again. All right, everybody, that was a long clip. I'll cut that down, but I got my gears changed. Here's the new 72 tooth gear, and then I've got my appropriate spacers and other gearing in here. I'll show you what the pattern's going to be, but I just wanted to show you that we do have all of our gearing in, and let's just give her a quick test spin. So you can see everything's good there. Let's come back over here. This, don't need. The gearing, the original, there we go. I always like to just kind of write that down. I think I'm gonna, somebody suggested scratching this into like a piece of aluminum or something and taping it or gluing it to the inside of your cover. I think I'm gonna do that. But the original is 8433, 2480, 96 and a spacer. The 20 thread pitch that I couldn't do before is 7233, spacer 80, spacer 40, and that is what we have mounted up over here. So we're going to get with it, and I'm going to start turning. The project is to do some internal threading. I'm going to give that a shot again, and then we're going to do some external threading and just see if we can't get those two to thread in together. So we'll get you mounted up and we'll get started with this. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to chuck this up. We're going to put some threads in here. We're going to do it by hand. Because all this is testing, I really don't want to feed it with the power feed and all that. We're just going to get this in here, get our internal threads cut. Then we'll go and we'll do our external threads and we'll try them together. But we want to make sure these are 20 TPI. That's the whole test because it's using a 72 tooth gear. Let's get started. All right, we finally got that done by hand. Again, there's no sense in ruining a part. I'm just doing some testing. But there is our internal threads. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I'm testing. And that is 20 TPI. And we'll get on to our external threading. Change our tooling out. We're going to use this inside or outside threading tool. It's a little worn from that last project, but for today's test I'm going to go ahead and use it. Right, go. So we're going to go ahead and get this threaded to fit inside this piece. Now I do need to turn it down first to get it down to size, so I need to figure that up. I'll do it off a camera. I've done that before in the past. There's a little trick. You got to make sure you got your threads. This has to be bigger than that. You got to accommodate for the depth of thread so that you don't overturn this, and then we can get on with turning that down. So I'll get that figured out, and then we'll bring it over here and we'll continue on. I need to bring this down to 840 thou. The internal threads measuring with my caliper. These are 800 thou, so I'm going to add 40 thou onto that. It should be 325, or sorry, 30 thou, 32 thou or so. But I'm going to go ahead and make this 40 thou, and then we'll start doing our test after we thread it. And that gives us enough meat on this in order to make our threads. So 840 thou is what I'm shooting for on this piece, and I'm going to chuck it up and we're going to get started with that. First thing I'll do, grab this. We're not going to do a whole lot, we just want to clean it up. Well, I take it back. We're just going to bring it down to 840 thou, and then we'll put our chamfer on the end, and then we'll start our threading. And we'll test out with the thread pitch gauge in order to make sure that we're on target for our 20 TPI. Well, went a little far, but I think that's going to work. 831, that's right where I was kind of shooting anyway. We're done. So now it's time to work on our threads. But before that, we'll do an undercut, do a little chamfering, and then we'll keep going. All right, here we go. Now it's time to do our external threads. We're going to do a scratch pass. We'll do a quick test with our thread pitch gauge, and then we'll finish it up. We'll do some test threading with our other piece, and we'll make sure everything fits together, and then we'll finish up this video. Our scratch pass. There we go. And then we hit our undercut. So I'm going to back it off. That out of the way. That's where we were. Let's check our scratch pass. Hopefully you can see that. I'll get my iPhone in here too. Here's a 20 thread pitch. That is on the money. Dave, you outdone yourself. All right, let's get the iPhone as well. All right, I got you a little bit closer here. Again, we're going to test the 20 thread pitch. You can see it there. And there is our scratch pass. Put this in here. And see there. That scratch pass is working great. Fits right in there. So the 72 tooth gear is in fact work there. That's a good angle there. It is, in fact, lining up. What we're going to do is finish up this part. We'll do our test with the other piece and make sure it works. Since I got the phone here, here's a close-up of that. So I got this for my test piece. We'll thread that on there once I get that down. But there's a setup. Let's continue on and get this thing knocked out, and we can close out this video. But I am super excited to be able to do all those threads on the lathe here that I couldn't do before. All those guys with the 72s. Anyway, let's keep going. We're going to do a couple little videos here, clips to finish up the content here. This was our test piece. This was my inside threading. It's going to be hard for you to see. I don't know if I'll be able to get that on camera, but that does match up very well. There's my inside threading. This is 20 TPI, something I couldn't do before. That's that test piece. And here's the external. Again, I overshot this a little bit, but as you can see, this matches up very well with 20 thread pitch. That's what I wanted. So the real test is, does this piece that I made, these are non-nominal sizes, right? This is 800 thou inside diameter here thread, but do these work? Let's test them out. There we go. That's at depth for the threads that I made here. So look at that. I'm getting better at threading, and now I can do a lot more thread sizes. That's a 20 TPI. Thank you, Dave. That is fantastic. Works very well. Quite happy with that. Very nice. There we go. All right, it's time to wrap this video up. What a fantastic collaboration. Dave, thank you for making the gear for me. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this collaboration. And especially thank you to mentoring me throughout this past year. Yes, I'm a capable person. I'm able to learn things on my own. But you've been there to really help correct me and teach me a lot of things that I wouldn't have known otherwise. You even had patience with me. Not a lot of people are going to have that, but thank you for that. This worked great. I made 20 TPI threads. These are non-nominal. It's just some random pieces. They match up to my thread pitch gauge. That's 20. I've got some close-up videos I'm going to throw in here as well. There's my test piece, and I even did some internal threading. I didn't really use the power feed too much. It's not that convenient with this lathe. It's almost easier, just take your time, run it by hand. As you can see in the previous clips, that's kind of what I did, but I also used a little bit of power feed too. But anyway, one more test fit. These guys fit together fantastic right there. They're not loose. That works great. I now can do, I think, 4 or 5 more thread pitches that I couldn't do without that gear. Again, closing this video out, but thank you for the collaboration opportunity. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.